G'day and welcome back to the Shit Dad podcast, where we change you from lad to quintessential Aussie dad while sharing our fatherhood wins along the way. I'm Nick.
I'm Cam.
And I'm Dave.
And thank you once again for taking time out of your busy weeks to listen to our fatherhood experiences and share your own. How are we going, boys?
Yeah, going well.
Getting ready for the end of the year.
Yeah, it's wind down time, hey?
It is. You get to this mid-November point, you're like, all right, when the holidays are.
I've got one more week of work
Oh.
and then it's a month off.
So
I'm winding down.
4 days.
4 days of work.
4 days.
Work.
Oh, yeah. 2 of those days.
If they're quiet, we're good. It's,
2 of those days I sleep.
How long till you're on holidays, Dave?
It was 11 and a half days.
Woo.
Yeah, with 2 excursions in there.
You guys haven't really, apart from yourself professionally, Dave, you haven't really experienced school holidays yet, have you? So it's very, it'll be interesting coming up for you boys in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to my school holidays next year.
Yeah.
Because I'll have someone there constantly with me. Like this year is good because it's like those 3 days where I knew no one was going to be with me.
Yeah.
Like, that was Mrs. Orchids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, finally I can actually have some peace and quiet.
Xbox.
It was a little bit like that, but it was also like, what am I doing today?
Ripping the ears off it.
So here's your jobs for today, and then you quickly do them in the morning, and then rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's like, here's your job. No. You write me a weekly list. I've
Yeah,
got 3
yeah.
days, all right? So I do nothing for 2 and then smash out.
I've told you boys my rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tools
after
down
11.
by
Oh,
11.
yeah. That's right.
It's regardless. Nothing is happening after 11, between 11 and school pickup. That's golden rule. She knows this. She's like, if my wife says, do you mind hanging... She only does now because she knows that I don't do anything after 11. She's like, oh, do you mind hanging the washing out? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it. How many loads do you want done? I'm like, 2 or 3. That's all good midweek. And yeah, that's another thing. When you have 3 kids, at school it's great, but on holidays it's fucking ridiculous. The clothes that you got to wash, even midweek, it's like 6 loads a week at least.
We're shocking at the moment because new guys just like vomiting on everything at all times.
Oh god.
Those stages are definitely things I don't miss. That washing after everything. No. I'm just like, why loads of washing? I reckon I could probably get away with 1 a week, including my work clothes.
How many does Trace do?
She probably does 2 or 3. And then the kids, it's like about 452.
A day.
And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, this kid's at home all day, right? With you. And like, or whatever. We're not going out for anything. I don't care if I don't care if they're dirty. No, if it's got a bit of dirt, a bit of food on it, whatever. That's lasting until bath time.
Yeah, mate. I didn't know where all the clothes came from until the Mondays I was at home with Miss 4, and she changed clothes 3 times a day at least because she doesn't like the look of the clothes. So like mornings, she'll wear one thing that's like pink and long pants or something, and then she'll say, it's too hot and I don't like pink anymore. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And then that'll happen 2 more times. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's where all the washing's coming from.
Yeah, but then I would just go and hang those clothes up. Back on the rack, put it back in.
Put it back in. Yeah.
At some stage, you just get a bit lazy and you're just like, yeah, whatever. If you want to chuck that in the pile, that's fine. I'll just wash it at the end of the week.
The good thing is about kids' clothes. They are little.
That's the worst part about it.
No.
There's so many things to carry. There's so many things to hang out.
No, I think it's not.
Teeny tiny socks, teeny tiny pants.
And you got to hang it. You've got to pull everything in the right way, otherwise it doesn't dry. Dave, get your shit together. All right, let's get some housekeeping.
Put them in the right way.
I mean, so they're not bunched up, like scrunched up socks aren't going to dry.
Yeah, okay, so yes, that. But I'm like, I thought you were saying, put them in the right way. And all
I'll
that.
make them turn them in the right way themselves. If you take your clothes off that way, that's how you're getting them back.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them from a young age. Because fucked if I'm sitting at the edge of the bed folding all the clothes and pulling them in the right way. You're joking.
I've discovered a new way to fold all the washing.
You just don't.
Don't. Just put it in piles. All right, here's your clothes, your clothes, your clothes.
So
throw it in the drawer. Doesn't matter.
That's how it ends up anyway. Our kids, you open their drawers and it's just scrunched up mess.
do we
You're
need
like,
to
oh,
fold
why
it?
are we doing it?
Well, I don't fold my clothes that go in a drawer. I just actually all my clothes are hung.
Shove it in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's all hung. And so most of the kids stuff is too space. But no, my stuff that goes in a drawer is literally like straight out of the basket and stuffed in that drawer.
Quickly shut it.
Nice.
Yeah, of course it is. Actually, no, it's off the runners, so it does. I have to. There's no quick about it. It's like shit, jam it shut.
Right, now we've solved those those issues. Let's kick it off with some housekeeping. Guys, we want to hear from you on some things that you want to hear to keep us fresh. So send us a parenting spin-off series that you'd love to listen to from us shit dads.
Got some new stuff happening next year, so really excited for you guys to get involved. Shoot us some ideas. Doesn't necessarily have to be dad, fatherhood, parenting related, just adjacent. So open us up to a few more topics there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to send those through, shoot them through to our Instagram at shitdadpod or shitdadpod@gmail.com. The best ways to get in touch. Send us a message or an email with anything that you've got to suggest for the next year.
And the merch packs are still on sale. I was just doing something else. I can't do two things at once. So don't forget, we got the Shit Dad merch packs coming into Chrissy, for your old boy, for your good mate, wives, partners, for the dads out there. Shirt, stubby cooler, and bumper sticker, $30 with postage as well. We'll chuck that in. So let us know. Get us out there as well.
Don't forget also to support the guys who support us. Nike hammocks, we're on board with. So get yourself in for Christmas and get your family in a Nike. 10% off when you use the code DADPOD at checkout. So get yourselves in one of those. Have you guys got one?
Yeah, I'm waiting
Having a
for
look.
Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
going to do bulk order and get one for myself.
True that. Yeah, I've done the Christmas shop already. Yep, it's real good. The missus is going to love Nike by the end of this. So, and I'm not even worried about saying it because she doesn't listen to the podcast. So it's all good.
It's good.
Right, I've got a little issue I'd like to bring up before we kick off today. It happened at the school. I was in a little P&C meeting because I threw myself into the P&C as you do somehow, and we were having a little meeting planning the events for next year with the business manager of the school, as P&Cs apparently have to do. This kid comes storming into the office, screaming his head off, carrying on like an absolute pork chop, and I was just like the lady afterwards from the school was like, you were shaking. Because I kept like fidgeting and like clenching my fists and carrying on because I was like, all I wanted to do was go and dad voice this kid. I wanted to get the veins popping.
I started thinking it was one of your two boys.
Mate, there would be hell to pay if my kid did that.
I'd be getting up in the middle of the meeting. It's like, if it was my kid, I'd be like,
mate,
pull him out.
Wasn't even my kid.
No, I know.
But I wanted to treat him like I would my kid. Because I was about to storm out there and go, oi, you knock that off right now. What gives you the right to talk to these people like that? First of all, they're adults. Second of all, who the fuck are you? No, yeah, obviously don't swear at kids. But I was so off it. I couldn't believe this kid was strutting around like he owned the joint. And I just wanted to put it out there, guys, to parents everywhere. Like, we all have our moments, don't we, where we're just like, just let him get away with it. He'll be all right. But, like, if your kid, it doesn't matter if you're a soft parenter or a hard parenter. If your kid's strutting around the school thinking that it's acceptable to talk to teachers or any adults like that, you're probably the problem, not the kid. Is that a fair statement, do you think?
I think they've learnt it from somewhere.
Yeah. So clearly they haven't, like, been told to pull their head in when they've done it.
I'm not saying that parent is definitely the problem, but like if you're getting a call from the school saying your kid's done this, like how are you reacting and how are you dealing with the issue? Is it time to maybe be a little bit firmer if you're a soft parent, or if you are a hard parent, is it time to maybe approach it a little bit differently to make the kid feel a bit safer at home? Because if anything, that's how you want them acting at home.
I think even if you're a soft parent, you know the limits and you know your child and how they can swing and what normal is and what normal isn't. So if they're acting that way, you would hope to assume that would be not normal, so that they, their parents can pull their heads in at home. Do you think kids act differently like that? And this is a question probably for you, Dave. Do they act differently at school, or are they going to be doing, like pushing the boundaries there, or would they be doing that at home as well?
Some kids would do it 24/7. So they'll push the boundaries at home, they'll push the boundaries at school.
That's sort of why I said parent may be the problem, not because that kid might just be a dick in general.
No. Look, I looked at that. I'll talk about firstly that issue about that kid losing it. That could have been the very first time that kid had ever lost it because something happened. It was just like a big meltdown. I think there's always that sense of forgiveness for these kids who, for whatever reason, like something's happened. You know, like so throughout their school, and one or two kind of big blow ups because major things happen. That's
And they're
understandable.
going through some shit.
And look, and that's understandable. But if that's like a day, weekly, daily,
occurrence,
whatever occurrence, well, you know that there is an underlying issue.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that child would act the exact same way at home if they were ever challenged. And I think that's sometimes what happens. I've seen it throughout my time at independent schools and then, low socioeconomic schools, that kind of, so either end of the scale, that sometimes parents want to be friends. They don't want to be parents. And it's easier to not challenge them and not put their foot down to stop that happening.
It's very, like the soft parenting, the more and more we look into it, the soft parenting is definitely a lot like that, though. You're more leaning towards friendly, like being your kid's friend than the parent. Whereas the hard parenting is like, no, this is the line, you don't cross it.
Yeah, ways I would agree with that, but the ways that I don't is it's the fact of the parents who want to be friends with people are the ones that don't want to make those decisions that go and say no. We're seeing it more and more these days. The kids have never heard the word no. No. Beg your pardon? And they're like, and now they know it. Like I'm getting from 10-year-olds, even younger. Well, you can't make me.
Yeah,
well,
you
are right. I can't make you. I said,
it sucks that they know that now.
It's like, oh, you can't make me. I'm like, well, look, no, I can't. I just send an email home or call.
Hopefully your parents will.
Yeah, but then like a lot of them, unfortunately, like where you are, sometimes they don't. Well, guess what, mate? Your currency. Sorry, what's the only thing that is yours at school? Oh, your playtime. Oh, nah, it's gone. Sorry, mate.
There you go.
Come in.
Hit them where it hurts. Yeah.
Oh, to say, sorry, no, you can write an apology to all the people you impacted. So, like, it goes down those ways. But look, no, I think those friendly parents, you're doing your children no favours because the world is about having to follow particular rules, particular expectations, and if you don't get your kids to adhere to that, well, they're the future of sitting in the watch house or doing those things that we fear our kids are going to do. That's stealing a car at 13 and having no idea about the outcomes kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's
hard to talk about this stuff without pigeonholing a generation of kids because we're all sitting here going, oh well, if you're too soft, your kid's going to be bloody locked up when they're 13. But they're not. Like it's not like
no, it's not. We're
talking about walking into an office, screaming at adults, and thinking it's acceptable.
Yeah, look, and as I said, I was talking extremes.
I get yeah,
and they're extremes of it's like the 1% of all population. Huh? Yeah. That's that extreme.
So from a teaching point of view, how many times, so you're saying once or twice a year or term that you're going to allow kids who don't usually, like maybe not ADHD or any sort of problems, you're going to allow them to have that what are you going to call it, an overload of emotions because they are hitting puberty and testosterone boost and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, well, they're going to be feeling some emotions that haven't felt before. And if they're at school surrounded by people, they're all trying to like out alpha each other. And there's so many things to take into account that maybe a couple of meltdowns a year is not the worst, or even a term. Hey, like even NAPLAN now, like at such a young age, like testing at such a young age, like there's so much pressure on kids, and it's easy for us to say, oh, we didn't have that many ADHD kids when we were kids, but we didn't have. I don't think we had the pressure that kids have now.
I think we did have that many ADHD.
Diagnosed.
They just weren't diagnosed.
Exactly. Yeah. They were just like, oh, that's that naughty kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's that chatty kid. Or
they're crazy.
You know what I mean? Look, I would actually... I've changed as a teacher very much recently, like especially the last 3 years of change of school. I'm very much like, no, my expectations are this. Yep. And I'm aware that kids are going to have meltdowns. They're going to have those big explosions and stuff like this. Does it matter if it's once a year or once a week? No, not really. They're still not okay. But the ones that happen once a year or once a term or sporadically. You're like, what's going on? For me, that's just like, well, what's going on? That's not a normal thing. So in a kid's life, why are you throwing down with every single person? Wanting to, argue with the teachers, why you, and then the next minute you're crying in the corner because your emotions are so high. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas those other kids that are having it regularly, it's then my mind's like, okay, how am I going to help teach this kid to change that?
Regulate his emotions a bit better. Yeah.
And that's the thing. So like changing it totally. But yeah, those once or twice a year, it's more of a bit of alarm bells for me. So because like adults, we don't just automatically react. Or there is people who do, but there's a very small percentage of people that do. But like us, like you'll see me, like we've all had it. We've all had shit nights of coming.
Yeah.
But it's normal for us. We know the consequences of our behaviour. As a 10-year-old, they don't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, I reckon we just need to. I think you did well, firstly, to sit there and not react.
Yeah, as much as I wanted to.
And I bet you those
couldn't focus on anything on that rest of that meeting.
I bet you the office ladies too. Most of them would have been like pretty kind and polite. Just like, oh no, yep. Yeah, because that's the way that they just.
They're not allowed to get angry at them and pull them into line.
But those poor office ladies, like they're the ones that run the school.
They cop it daily,
don't they? They cop it from kids and parents and like everybody.
So parents would be worse.
Oh God! If you're one of those parents that go up to a school and just either complain about everything or nothing's ever good enough, or my kid's kid's always in trouble. What are you doing to fix it? Like, come on.
Yeah. No, look,
they're not qualified clinical fucking psychologists. Just anyway.
Oh, look, my advice to anyone who wants to have a go at those wonderful angels at the front of the school, in the office and stuff like this, please think twice. Please, because they are trying to do everything they can to make your children's day so much better. Because without them, as a teacher, I'm telling you right now, without them, my day is fucked.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then cranky teachers, they. That's
not going to make your kids' day any better.
No,
either.
not at all. Like, they definitely not. So
nice.
That's my advice.
Outstanding.
The Chew, Vance,
Yarn,
Convo,
Chinwag,
Chat,
Shoot the breeze.
a heart to heart,
spilling the tea.
Dad discussion.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off a second there, Dave, but yeah.
Mate,
I think I just missed one word. So he just said our sixth sense as a teacher. So that's fair. Right, so the Chew this week, boys. The Chew. We've come up with a few really big hitting topics in the last few weeks, and probably the last 6 months. I reckon we've had
some serious stuff. Eh?
Yeah. So I thought we'd lighten it up. So as you know, we don't really sugarcoat the challenges of fatherhood. We only share experiences and how we've dealt with them in the hope that the listeners can relate and find something that works for them. But this week, we wanted to highlight our most enjoyable parts of fatherhood so far. There's probably more, but we've had to just narrow it down to 3.
I'm sure there's a long list, but it's nice. Yeah. This is once again, it was nice the other week to think about those words, those 3 words for how you want your kids to behave, or like those the values that you want them to have. And that was a really nice, positive area to play in, so we thought we'd kind of continue that.
Swim in the positive pool.
Woohoo! It's that time of year.
After that conversation that we're having.
So, we just thought about, like, what are those moments when you're like, fuck, I love my kids. Oh, you're so cute. Being a dad's the best. We always talk about, those moments that can be more challenging and a bit harder. But those moments when you just realise that you're very lucky to have them in your life, and also it's just right now, especially, is a moment in time where things are probably pretty hectic for most parents, and you don't want to wish it away, but also at the same time, you always hear from older parents, grandparents around how they say, oh, yeah, we got through it, we survived, that kind of thing. So for me, when I was thinking about this, few things that stood out. One was when they realise it's the weekend or that you're working from home. So
that's cool.
This is a good one. So literally, most kids all the time, they're like, what day is it? What am I doing today? Do I go to daycare? Do I go to kindy today? Obviously, school kids have a bit more of an idea, but weeks can be pretty long. Yep. So come around Saturday, you might be sitting there in the morning eating breakfast and they say, are you going to work soon? And you're like, no, it's Saturday. It's the weekend. And just that joy on their faces and in their voices of, oh, it's the weekend. We can actually do stuff. What are we going to do? And they're, oh, well, what do you want to do? And you have a discussion around that. So that for me is always a really good one. And
nice.
Simultaneously as well, the whole working from home thing. Because I don't do it an awful lot. I'm in the office a fair bit. But if I go and pick them up or drop them off kind of thing, it's just that nice little thing to go, oh, okay, you're around today. And get to spend that a little bit extra time together as well.
Extra presence.
Yeah. So that's my first one. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is something that's probably been happening and I've been seeing, especially as my daughter's gone through kindy this year and she's about to go into school. So really that step up, that next level in learning. So thinking about that transition from infant, just trying to keep them alive, trying to stop them falling downstairs, trying to teach them just to, eat without choking, all those things.
That's a challenge in
Don't
itself.
die.
That challenge doesn't stop for me.
Yeah, after a few beers, it's hard. Thinking about as well, like even those toddler years, 2 and 3, where they're pretty rubbish at drawing and all those types of things.
Oh, the pretending how good the pictures are is so hard.
That's just scribble. That's shit.
It's one line. It's one line on the paper.
Yeah.
Why did you bring this home from daycare? Like, literally, it's a waste of paper. But I'll put it on the fridge.
Yeah. Do you really want me to keep this? So that next level in learning. So I think about things like bike riding, scooter riding, when they start to be really creative and using their imaginations with arts and crafts, as mentioned, writing, even starting to read and recognise colours, shapes, letters and words. And really just, at the moment, I'm gobsmacked sometimes at what my daughter draws. I'm like, no, you didn't draw this. This is good. Like, there's no way you drew this. Who did this? She's like, no, it's me. And I sit there, all right, do it again. I'll do another one.
Do it while I'm watching. I don't believe you.
And then she does, and I'm like, oh, shit, it was you. So that's a nice thing to see.
You're going to have a little artiste, eh?
That's Picasso. Good.
So once again, and that's something I'm excited about for next year, seeing her go to school. She loves learning and she loves participating, and she's a bit of a teacher's pet. So she's obsessed with, like most kids, telling you facts and all those things. So that's been a really nice one this year.
No, good.
Final one from me. This is a strange thing. So normally we always talk about how that final push into the end of the day, you got to get them into bed. You yourself, maybe you want to have a shower, have dinner with your partner, just sit down for 5 minutes. And then I'm sure you felt it before where you're just like, I miss them. Like, I want to go give them a cuddle or talk to them, and, they're kind of gone. They're asleep. Or also, like, looking at old photos or videos, and I've started, like, showing them some old videos of themselves.
Yeah, nice.
Where
they
they've
love
gone,
that, don't
they think it's hilarious because
Yeah.
they can't really talk properly. And, like, my son called the dog Denzel, they called him Zell, and they just were cracking up laughing, and now they call him Zell again. But that makes you realise those, like, seeing those videos of how fast things are going. So, and that's probably like if you're flicking through some of those on your phone at on the couch while they're asleep, you're like, oh God, all right, got to make sure I go and give them an extra little cuddle.
Yeah. No, good on you, mate.
I love that, mate.
Real positive.
I actually, when I say this, I struggled with coming up with some of my favourite things because there are so many. And then sitting there going like, oh, yes, and it's just all clicking again. Like a big one for me has been obviously having 4, like you said, the first, so coming up for Miss 4, going to school, but seeing her then learning to ride the bike. She asked me the other day, can you take my training wheels off? I want to try without the training wheels. I'm like, okay, I'm not taking them off today. I said, let's do them on the weekend so we can actually practice.
Yeah.
Go. It's those first, but then also with 18-month-old, seeing my second child looking at how independent she wants to be because she sees that big sister. So the first of things that she's doing, and and then that makes you remember, like, oh shit, I remember when that other one, did that, or talking, So for me, the firsts have always been one of my favourite things because it's also one of those key moments that, like you were talking about, sitting on the couch and like, what was that? Oh, do you remember when?
Yeah.
And it was always like, it's one of those things. You remember when they did that? And it's generally a first. So big one for me was the firsts. I'm only going to touch on this one a little bit because I know Ben's looking at the run sheet. You talk about this one a bit more. But that coming home and pickups at daycare and stuff like this and just seeing them. And it's like having that really shit day. I've got a wall for my kids. So I've got actually some of their really shit drawings up there, but all their photos and stuff like this. So if the kids come and see me in class and I'm just staring at this wall, it's because they know that I'm having a shit moment and I'm looking at my girls.
Yeah, okay.
So, but then coming home and seeing them and they just, their face, how they light up.
Yeah.
And come running to you, or daycare, and they come running to you. And it's like, Dad! Yeah. And I'm like now real cautious because of the height of their heads. Like
the nut height.
So there's a little bit of dad vibes there because that face is about to go smack right in your balls, and then there goes any chance for any more. But no, that's a real quick one for me. My Miss 4 is starting to get a really, essentially she's starting to pick up on my sense of humour. So she's starting to do more and more other things. I'll say the silly things.
Like laughing at farts and all that carry on.
Yeah, all of that there, or pulling jokes on them and stuff like this. And what she said today, like she was a bit upset at daycare today. It was because Mum never went back and gave her another kiss after dropping her sister off. Anyway, so we're like, oh, how long were you sad for? And all the educators were like, oh, something about 5 minutes or whatever. She was fine. She was all good. Like, hey, Isla, how long are we going to tell Mum to make it really worth it? Say 5 hours. So she got home and she's like, Mum, I was sad for 5 hours today. So she's saying those jokes. And she played with it for a little bit.
Yeah,
but then all of a sudden she's like, I'm just joking. It was only 5 minutes.
Gotcha.
So it was like those little things.
Yeah.
So seeing that again with her. And one of my favourite things with the girls, because I miss it quite a fair bit with my first one, is actually the bedtime routine. Fuck, it's chaos. Like sometimes it is so chaotic. Trying to get 2 of them in bed, pretty similar times. One still needs or one still likes to have the boo before bed. They're both very much mummy girl. But actually just being able to lie there in bed with Miss 4, read a book, have a story.
Yep.
We make up a story, just talk about your day. What was your favourite thing? What are you looking forward to? But then talking about the next day. Hey, so tomorrow we've got swimming, or, tomorrow we're going to Movie World. And they're like, what? Oh, I can't wait. And then they wake up in the morning, I dreamt about Movie World. I'm like, so, yeah, they're some of my favourite things.
It's often those times when you just, you stop. We always talk about, not having technology or TV on, things like that. You stop, you just lay down on the floor with them and you just have a chat.
Yep.
You just be like, oh, what do you reckon about this? And that's always those really nice moments as well, where you can go, all right, you tell me a story, and they just tell you absolute rubbish. And it gets better over time.
Yeah, of course it does. But it's funny how quickly they pick up on things.
Yeah.
Like I said, like hearing, like, I make jokes, and I've said this before. My Miss One's the bully. She bullies me. She bullies her sister at home. So there are some times where I'm sitting there going, holy fuck, you are doing my head in, kid. But then I look at them like, well, you know what?
That's worth it.
Guess what? No one's going to fucking mess with you at school, are they? Look, you are just going to just hold your own. In those times where I'm like, oh, stop doing my head, and I'm like, actually, I know you're going to be right in
It's
life.
for a good thing,
already. So, which is good.
Nice.
What about you, Ben?
Well, my 3 highlights, I'll kick off with what you were talking about before with the school pickups and stuff. So one of my absolute favourite things about fatherhood at the moment is school pickups, because they're at an age where they still want to see you at the end of the day. Like they're at school, so they're exhausted. They want to tell you about their day and like all the trivial shit that's happened at school during the day, and like you are the most important person in their life at that stage. Like right then and there, you are the most important person in their life. So that to me is just the greatest part of fatherhood for me at this stage in my life, because I love it. I want to be there. I want to hear what, like, the shittest things that have happened that day. Like, he scrunched up my favourite drawing, and I'm like, oh, that must have sucked. Oh my God. And like, I'll try and turn it into like a bit of a teaching moment as well. I'm like, well, how did you deal with it though?
Yeah.
Oh, I was really sad. This is today. He's like, I was really sad. And I was like, did you hit him? And he goes, nah. I was like, good boy, because we don't hit. And like, you try and do stuff like that, and you turn it around on him and stuff. Did you tell the teacher? Yeah. I was like, what did she say? I was like, oh, that's probably a good thing. Hey, like, do you think that she did the right thing there? And he goes, yeah, probably. I'm like, okay, cool. And it's a real good teaching moment, and like a bit of a bonding thing for us as well, because he knows that I'm there for him, and like, he can talk to me about anything, which is really cool. The other thing, how different the kids are. So I absolutely love, as annoying as they are, and as much as they're boiling my piss at this stage of their life, I absolutely love how different all three of them are, because they're just it's so hard. You can't see what's happening day to day. Like, it's going to be completely different tomorrow than it was today, and how to deal with it. There's no cookie cutter way to deal with three kids, because one's going to be in a bad mood tomorrow. It's a given, but they're going to bounce off the other two, and it'll guaranteed put one of them in a bad mood as well. And then me and the other one that's in a good mood are going to have to try and bring them back out of their bad mood. It's really, like, that's not the best part of it, but, you know, just how they eat dinner. Yeah. For one, it's like they've all got their different little intricacies. Like, my oldest, he's like the delicate one, so he'll like nibble food and take little bites and eat over his plate so he doesn't make a mess. Number two, as you guys know, he's a hurricane, so he's like man spreads and like sits back in his chair and like eats with one hand and just chomps it. Like, imagine like a really alpha dude covered in tats, like a bikie, trying to look cool eating a carrot. That's my middle boy every time he eats.
Great description.
Yeah.
Just all clicked. I was like, yep, that is.
Yep, actually, that's right.
Say, yep.
And yeah, the little Miss 4, she just likes the idea of having food in front of her. So she doesn't actually, she barely eats, but she's like, if she doesn't have food in front of her, she's like, what do I miss out? Yeah. And so she just likes being part of something, which is really cool.
That's a good point. The three kids is an interesting one. Sometimes you assume that, if you have two boys and a girl, or two girls and a boy, you know, the two girls will be similar, or the two boys. It's not the case, really. You've got three really unique individuals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's generally, so I don't know about anyone else, but the dynamic in my house is the two naughty ones. Not naughty, the two energetic ones, we'll call them.
Rat bags.
The rat bags. The 4 and the 6-year-old are the ones that get along the best, and they bounce off each other, and it is chaos daily. But the other thing that is the other highlight that I chose for fatherhood so far is just basically embracing all their different personalities. So one of them bottles it up and then just all of a sudden will explode because he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. The middle one just throws his toys out of the cot whenever something goes wrong. Like today, example, I said he couldn't invite himself over to the neighbour's house and jump in their pool. And he had a fucking massive meltdown. I was like, how do I deal with this? And
this is pretty simple.
Yeah, it's a pretty, like, I don't think I'm being unreasonable by saying you can't invite yourself to the neighbours for a swim. Like when, I don't know, I just don't get it. But that's just how their little heads work. And
are they home?
Yeah, they were in the pool.
We'll just give
them.
But
we don't really know them that well yet.
Just give him the courage. We'll just knock on the door. Excuse me, mind if I have a swim? Just see what they say.
I said, you can't just invite yourself. And he goes, but I said, I've been at work all night. I'm not going to jump over the fence and watch you guys play. I've got to have my time as well, you know. Anyway, it was like I made up a great excuse. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then he goes, but Sebby's dad can watch me. I was like, no, Sebby's dad can't. He's got 3 or 4 of his own kids. He doesn't want to watch another rat bag jumping in and out of his pool, probably trying to help himself to the cupboard, and it's just a nightmare. Anyway, so that's his little personality. He just thinks he can do whatever he wants and gets the shits when you say no. And little Miss just needs to be the center of attention. So it's a really weird dynamic at the moment. We've got two really outgoing kids, and then one really shy one that doesn't really know how to get. He wants more attention, but he doesn't know how to get it. So he just starts like chipping away at the other two, like on their own. Yeah. He's like a bit of a, I don't know. I'm trying to find an analogy for it. Like he doesn't want to get ganged up on, so he tries to like sneakily just chip away at the other when they're alone. When the other two when they're alone, just tries to pick them off one by one.
He's just trying to play them off on each other to get them on his side.
Yeah.
Sounds smart.
That's it.
I was going to say he's the clever one.
He is the clever one.
He just gets them more.
Yeah. He just doesn't know how to be as subtle at the moment because he knows that the other two are just going to tell on him and get in trouble. Anyway, so that's our highlights, guys. I think that's really good, and we've said some really positive things. And I know sometimes people can think, oh shit, Dad podcast, like. It's all doom and gloom, but you're like, it's not at all. We're just sharing the stuff that happens. Some of it's great, some of it's not, some of it's funny, some of it's sad. Like, it's just sharing experiences. But takeaways from this, guys? Mine would be all kids are different. Adapting is hard, but you just try and take it day at a time. Whatever their daily energy is at that day, like on that particular day, is how I roll. You just try and deal with it as it comes.
You can't. You can plan as well as you want, but there's always going to be something. So I like that. Yep. I had 2 takeaways. First one was just remember, and I think this kind of is actually kind of a bit of a reminder for me. You're their superhero. So let's not ever forget that. Like that, we spoke about both the pick-up and drop-offs and stuff.
You're the most important person in their life.
Yeah. So, and one was a little bit just a little bit more of a message for all of us too. So remember, dads, we might not have it all together, but together we have it all.
Ah,
deep. You're not on quote this week.
That's real deep.
No, well, it's just my takeaway from it because I think sometimes I think about the times I don't have it together.
Yeah.
And what I do have actually brings me back. And it's like, yep.
Nice. I had a little takeaway for expectant dads or dads having other kids that don't really know the dynamic yet. You are like you being the best person they know while they're trying to push your buttons at the same time is basically the dynamic of multiple kids fatherhood.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You love them, but you don't have to like them.
Yeah, that's right.
All the time.
Yeah. Mine would just as mentioned before, just don't forget how lucky you are to have them at all, because there's a lot of people who can't. And as mentioned, don't wish away that time, because we always hear it, from grandparents, other parents, that it goes so fast.
Yep.
Looking back, wish they were that little cute toddler again. They obviously have blocked out all the shit.
Yeah, exactly. They forgot all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw a really relatable meme this week. I know how is it that like these days everyone's like stories and stuff comes from memes they saw on Instagram and Facebook, but this one's so relatable. We are the first generation of soft parenting, like widespread soft parenting, Like it's the normal thing to do now. But it's always good to let the kids know that we can go old school if we have to.
Yeah. Well, it happened to us. We know how to do it.
100%.
That's great.
And we're still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We turned out all right, as they say. That wraps up the chew this week, guys, because the highlights of fatherhood so far.
I think it was actually a good reminder.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, lads, just sitting there all day thinking, what are, and then, there's going to be a receipt long list of all the things you could have spoken about, but it was also a really good reminder of all those awesome things that we experience as dads, and mums obviously out there too that experience it too, and whatnot, whether it's dads, stepdads, whatever. So amongst that shit, there is still some amazing things, and it's just like life. Don't try to focus too much on the shit, and look through, look at the good stuff in it.
Something that I do also quite enjoy about going through the stages, probably especially now, kind of the kindy daycare ages, is you've got that shared camaraderie with other parents.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know them, even if we're at this wedding on the weekend and we just kind of naturally were just talking to other people, and then the ones that were there that were parents and had the night off from the kids, you just had this shared how good is it?
This is what dreams are made of.
Yeah. And so you gravitate towards each other, and it's just this shared little understanding of the good and the bad. So that's also something nice to come out of it, of that that camaraderie that you get from being a part of this awesome club.
Yeah.
So good. Hey guys, I want to bring it to your attention that I am the carry-over champ.
Sure, not the carry-o champ.
I'm not carry-o the champ,
Carry-o.
but I'm carry-over champ from Shootout last week. Don't mean to brag, but it was my first win. Actually, that's not a brag at all. We've been doing this for weeks now. Right. This week it's Dave versus Cam. I've got the topic as the carry-over champ. So this week I'm asking you guys games that you'd find in a family game cupboard. Starting with last week's runner-up, Charon.
Monopoly. Battleship.
The little fishing game.
Yep.
Jenga.
Oh, that's a good one. Would you accept just a regular deck of cards?
Yep.
Fish.
Yep.
Hungry Hippo.
Yeah,
That's
boss.
good. Oh, what are my other ones? Oh, it's called Kids on Stage. It's like charades for kids.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you played 5-second rule?
Yep.
Oh,
Very good.
Yep. Now, are these board games for kids?
Whatever you want.
Oh, any board
Yeah,
game.
family board games.
Oh, yeah, cool. Test match.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Mousetrap.
Yeah, good.
Oh, man, you got a good one. Trouble.
Good. This is a good one. It can go for a while.
Yeah.
Curse the commentator.
I was going to go on a card game. But you said 'em.
4, 3,
Settlers of Catan.
2.
Is
that a tactics game?
It's definitely.
I'll pay it. All right.
Your teenagers could play that.
Okay.
Squatter.
What's that?
Have you not seen that one? It's like the Aussie version of like Monopoly. It's like
Okay. All right. Yep. It's the thing.
Operation.
Yeah. Good. Very good.
Well played.
Thinking of all those games that I wanted when I was
Yeah. Rummy Cub.
Good.
Cluedo.
Good.
He's looking through my game cupboard. Smart ass.
Chess.
Checkers.
Mahjong.
Chinese checkers.
Isn't that what it is?
No, Chinese checkers with marbles.
Oh, right. Yeah, marbles.
You gave him that answer. That is
Oh,
bullshit.
you sunk my.
That is bullshit. You forget he's used battleships.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Damn it.
Yeah,
I was going to
only
give you
saying-
one as well.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. I couldn't use it. I'm pulling out all stops here. Crossbows and catapults.
What the flip is that?
It's in
All
my
right.
cup. Yep.
All out.
Pictionary.
Categories.
This is getting intense. 5, 4, 3, 2,
No.
1.
I'm out.
David is the winner. Yeah. Good on you, boys. Well done. That was a really good one. I think a couple of you missed. We had Game of Life.
Oh, yeah.
There's a kids version of that as well. We got Pop-Up Pirate, Cluedo, Family Feud, and that was all I had. Very good.
Nice.
Well done, boys.
That is awesome.
Reminds me to get some for Christmas.
Do you know what? We are well into the old boardies at the moment. So we've got always make the special trip to Mr. Toy's Toy World on the weekends if it's one of those rainy weekends and we're struggling. That's like one of our to-do list. Costs a bit of money sometimes, but it's like you'd spend that on like takeaway or something as well. So now it is time for this.
Twice watching kangaroos, the dreaded I need to use the loo, and all other things just wanna do. This is the shit that I'd did a poo. At least we know where is the loo. Running amok with Dad now too. This is the Shit Dad Review. This is the Shit Dad Review. This is the Shit Dad Review.
Love that song.
That is such a
Seriously.
good jingle. Richo, our podcast manager, has outdone himself.
It's amazing what happens when you listen to it not at work. Oh, I'm quiet. What are you doing in the corner? Nothing.
Nothing.
Just trying to listen to something. All right, so it's my turn to take a chop at reviewing a family-friendly location with an unnecessary and probably pointless review to help out dads to find a family day out.
Hit us, Dave.
All right, I put in some keywords because I was pretty strapped for I'm in report writing time, and
Yeah,
I'm like, nah,
we understand the
my brain
stress. We got you.
My brain is fried.
Yeah.
So I put in some keywords, right?
Love it.
And anyway, I am reviewing your local library.
Oh, here we go.
And I made it sure that it was written well.
Do we have to put this on each of our local libraries' Facebook review page? I think we
Right.
should.
Well, maybe it's just we'll go the local, our
As the Shit
probably
Dad
local.
podcast Facebook page.
So I'll do, we'll do the Moreton Bay one. We'll go
Yeah.
to the North Lakes one.
All right.
So that's where I visit, and lucky we know someone who works. for the
Yeah.
libraries,
Shout out
'cause-
to the librarian, Jimbo.
Oh, because I dead set would have been on their blacklist for a while because I just kept forgetting to go back. But anyway, so the title is Library Laughs, a family-friendly expedition. Giving it 5 out of 5 stars.
Ooh,
Stealthy librarians and kid-friendly quests.
stealthy.
Yeah. Embarked on a library adventure, a realm of ancient tomes, stealthy librarians, and the occasional paper cut. Picture a suspenseful soundtracks as a brave book hunter faced bookish ninjas and the Dewey Decimal System. The best part? I discovered the library is a haven for families. Brought the little ones along and found a trove of free activities in the kids section. Magical land of stories and creativity. But wait, there's more. No late fees lurking in the shadows. The librarians, masters of stealth and kindness, welcome us with open arms and waive late fees like benevolent. I can't say that word.
Benevolent.
Thank you, wizards. In conclusion, the library is a treasure trove of laughter, mild panic, and a family-friendly fun. Embrace the chaos, dance with librarians, and remember, the real adventure begins in the children's section. I gave it 5 out of 5. Would bring the whole family for another laughter-filled quest.
Good on you, Dave.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Chat Dad.
Chat Dad.
Chat Dad.
That's we got to bring that segment back. I don't think
That's
we need
phenomenal.
to because Dave uses it
it's
weekly.
kicking it on.
I have to do it because
No, it's good. It's a good thing because
I come up
it
with
says things that we can't say.
But I come up with the keywords. I look at all the keywords that I put in there. All right, each sentence, I reckon, each paragraph, there was 4 of them. I reckon I put about 4 keywords in each.
Yeah, nice.
And I was like, just do it for me. I can't. I literally can't run. All I'm seeing right
That's
now,
something that's good enough to post on the review page.
Yeah, totally.
I like it.
We're putting that up on the Moreton Bay Libraries review on Facebook.
Anyway, but actually, in all serious note, though, if you haven't taken your kids to your local library, take them.
Oh, it's great.
I'm going
isn't
to be
it?
living there
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
Jan and Feb when I'm on pat leave
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's honestly, it's just
Air conditioned.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
air conditioned,
totally.
but like the kids section, it's
Wi-Fi.
It is just so good because they have things that run there. Like our one down there at North Lakes, our kids can like go and create little like there's so many cushions
Yeah.
they can create little castles
Yeah.
and they've got baskets of big dinosaurs and all this, and it's just
Yeah.
like these are better toys than I have for you at home. Like, I'm bringing you here all the time.
We go
and
on
then
the
just
library,
and then
kids.
just walk away.
Shit, that story of the week, boys.
I got a cracking one.
We can't wait to hear it, Camo.
All right, so I mentioned I was at this wedding on the weekend, and the pre-drinks, the Friday night pre-drinks before the wedding,
Love prees.
we were at the local pub saying good day to the bride and groom to be and all the family and everything before we wandered back to the Airbnb a few blocks away. So let's say it's a 10-minute walk.
Yep.
End of the night, you pack up all the kids. We had the trolley the trusty trolley. You can take anywhere. Had
the same one you take the beach and that.
oh yep. We take it everywhere.
good.
Sorry, did you take all three?
Yep. And we were staying with the in-laws as well.
Okay.
So there was a big crowd of us
All right.
kind of carrying them all. We had a bunch of bags and different things. And wandering back, I had the new guy strapped to me in the ergo, of
Nice.
course.
Yep.
And it wasn't late, maybe like 7:30 or so. And obviously on the way back home. get a
Bit
little
stumbly?
inkling. Yeah, I need to do a bit of a bushwee.
Oh, bushway. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a bit difficult. He's strapped to the front of me, facing out. He was awake, having a great time looking around. Should be fine. So I start doing business, and he decides he just wants to start trying to touch it with his foot and kicking. And so he's got both his little legs just flailing around, and I'm just going, oh, stop it.
You're
Don't
leaning
move.
back further and further. Yeah.
It's all down his leg. And you know what it's like as well, because you can't really... This thing's on you. You can't see what's happening. You just hope it's okay.
You can't reach it. You're trying to get under his leg to hold it. You just unzip. You're going.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
So we got away okay, but it was
That's
a bit
good.
dicey there for a minute. But the shit dad moment of the week happened from the granddad, from their Poppy, my father-in-law, who drove us down from the airport in his big four-wheel drive car. On I'm going to say the second or the third day. Essentially, we went out for the day, had the kids' bags, and got to one of the destinations that we were going to. All right, kids, sit down. We need to do this thing. You can just watch your iPads for a little bit. Pull out my daughter's iPad, and it was smashed to bits, absolutely all cut up, all like bent in half, basically. And I'm just going, oh, what happened here? And she looks at it and she goes, Poppy, he ran over my bag with the car.
Oh, no.
And he looked over and he was like mortified. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I thought I ran over something. Everything else in the bag was fine. There was a tinted water bottle. Everything else was
Roberto.
completely normal. But then, yeah.
Oh, that's
iPad-
horrendous.
And it wasn't just like...
That shit ain't
It wasn't
cheap.
just smashed like
Yeah.
your iPad, a couple of cracks on the screen. It was like destroyed. Like kids will, get shards kind of using it. So safe to say that went in the bin.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's tough.
Yuck. What do you got, Dave?
Mate, mine's just to share a bit of a day. We went off to Movie World.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we battled. It's too early for the drive for Miss 1-year-old to fall asleep, but we're like, nah, we're just going to do it. We might just have to ergo it with her, which we knew it wasn't going to happen. So she had about a 20-minute sleep on the way. I'm like, yeah, try to transfer to the ergo. Nah, just lost it. And then I tried to go like, I got her, and then just walked away and like tried to get her sleep. Clearly I did it. So they copped it before we even got into Movie World. Like, I just told you. I was like, oh, fucking hell, whatever. Trying to do the right thing. So that's the start of Movie World.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I got in there, and it's just like,
Was it a roller coaster of emotions?
oh, man.
I see what you did there.
It was a Scooby-Doo coaster of emotions. It's been shut down so long.
What?
No. Yeah, Scooby-Doo. It's the best ride there. Stuck down.
stitch
No,
up.
but anyway, we went there and had a really good time. The kids were really good. But our kind of moment, and it wasn't just a shit dad, it was a shit mum and dad moment. It came from just outside in the little kids area is a little water pad. Like just a tiny little one. It's not much, but just
The
water
splash.
coming out. Yeah, splash pad, essentially. Anyway, so we got them changed into their gear. And we're like, yep, no problem, you'll be fine. 1-year-old, we're not putting a swim nappy on you, you're fine. But literally, like, first one, like, standing there next to it, just, like, stops and looks at us. Like, you're doing a pee, aren't you? Next minute, it just dribbles down everywhere. Like, oh, fuck. And then next minute, but the 4-year-old thought that was funny. So then just stops where she is and like, I'm doing a wave! Okay, that's fine. Just get under the water. That's easy.
At least
I
it
don't
wasn't
care.
a poo.
Just don't talk about it.
Yeah, just don't yell it
Yeah,
out
yeah.
over everybody. Like, and that's the problem. It was there. But anyway, that actually wasn't even the moment. It was like we wanted our 1-year-old to get wet. She was just like loving time, just running around the outside, just enjoying it all. But there was one right near us. That's going to look good on the camera too. Wave my hand up and down. No, there was one right near us in front of it that was sporadically on and off. And it was quite soft. And I managed to get the girls to look down at it. Like on the... like, where's the hose? Where is it? Is it coming down? Is it coming down? And every time, like, I just couldn't get the timing right. So every time they're looking at it, they'd both get up next to me. It'd come up, and I'm like, oh, you are either more clever than me, which is probably more so the case, or like I was just bad in timing. So, but our moment was coming from the fact that we wanted our kids to be squirted in the face from those.
Trying to
So
stitch them up.
and we were just sitting there the whole time just recording. Like, come on, this is going to be hilarious. Come on, do it. I reckon we spent about 20 minutes trying to get them to do it.
Love it.
Happen. So, yeah, that was about it. But another one was I had to put my dad voice on
Good. Veins?
to another kid that wasn't even mine. I was like trying to cut in. I was like in the little drive car area. He like pushed in front of about 20 kids and got to us finally, or 20 people kind of thing. Got to us and just in there talking. And then so I got to the front and was trying to and then try to cut straight in. I was like, where the fuck is your parents? Like, you're 5. Because he ended up talking to me anyway. I'm like, yeah, mate. Yep. Anyway, next minute the line starts moving again. He tries to cut in front of me. I had to like literally put my hand on his shoulder, like in front of him, like, no, mate, get behind me. And he looks up at me. Like, do not push in front of me and my daughter. And he's like, oh. And then came back and looked. I reckon he tried that about 5 times.
But no one else stood up to him.
No one else did. And then like another kid, like an older kid who's probably as tall as me, so he probably wasn't a kid, he was probably a teenager. Anyway, starts going from us like, beat it, mate. By the time I was done, it was only 15 minute wait. I'm like, get behind me. And he looked at me, I'm like, no, mate, you're not pushing in front of me. Get behind me.
Line etiquette.
Yeah, no
Yeah, and I
line
said
etiquette at all.
So clearly I had gone and I dealt with it. And this kid then still got on. And I'm like, whatever, mate, you would have been waiting another 5 minutes. I'm like, where the fuck is your parent? Anyway, finally saw who it was at the end. I'm like, yeah, okay, gotcha. I understand why. But the staff came over to me, one of the staff members afterwards, as I'm walking my little girl on, sitting on the back of the car. She's like, man, that little Flash kid just wanted to keep pushing in front of me. And I'm like, yeah, could you not see me wanting to punt him to the back of the line? And she's like, yeah, I did.
Good
Thanks.
patience.
But she's like, thanks for not.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I don't like
Dadding another kid.
I don't like parenting other kids. You know what I mean?
But if their
Someone's
parents
got to.
aren't around, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
If someone's got to show them the line etiquette.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Beat it. Next time I'll kick you.
Boys, this
What do you got?
week my kids had their school colour run. So they do colour runs now instead of like fun runs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is
So-
that for Diwali or is that just...
No,
it's like
it was just a fundraiser, PNC fundraising thing.
It's a really cool fundraiser for the schools because you...
Well, we made a shitload of money for the school, which was cool.
and I think the school gets 60%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
80, something like that. 60
it's less than 50%. But yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's all right. It's still a lot of money. So
Oh, see, that's cool because we did one and we...
depends who you go through.
Yeah, I must have. Yeah. But either way, like, that's good.
So they had their little colour run, and we were like, the PNC guys were all volunteering for like to help with all the stations and stuff. So they had the chalk stations, they had the water stations, they had like obstacles and stuff. And I, of course, jumped on the water station because I'm the messy guy. So
Oh, you're the fiery, you know?
the fun fiery dad.
So how did the fire truck go hosing down all those kids?
I wish we could have taken the fire truck. It would have been so good.
That
God.
6-year-old's just been flung
I would
across
have
the
punched
oval.
them with the monitor, the big
Yeah.
hose on the top of the truck, and smashed them with 2,900 litres a minute. That would have been sick. Anyway, so we had to settle for buckets of water and water pistols and that. But I found the hose that they used to fill the buckets up. And, of course, I smashed the kids with the hose. So that was a lot of fun. And I was really pissed off because I didn't get pictures of my kids doing it. All I wanted was a picture of my kids covered head to toe in chalk. It would have been sick. Anyway, I didn't get that because I was too busy having fun, like smashing the other kids with water, smashing the kids' teachers and the principal and everything, and ended up taking one of the buckets of water and putting it over the principal's head. So that was a bit of fun. A couple of the kids who raised the most money got to slime the principal and one of the teachers. That was awesome. The only problem with a colour run is they send the kids home covered in chalk, which is cool. Like, it's the end of the day. They've got to, like, they're not going to have showers at school. I get it. That's fine. But I've just got a reasonably new ute, and I didn't really feel like letting the boys in it. So I was like, do I let them walk home? Like, I was going to drive home and then walk back and walk them home.
Yeah.
I was like, in the sun all day, had night shift that night. I was like, nah, fuck this. Let's just go. You know what? You're not getting in my car looking like that. Strip down. You're going home in your undies. And they weren't excited about that. Actually, sorry, I correct myself. The Mr. Six, he just in an instant he was stark naked. I was like, no, leave your undies on. It's okay. Jump in the car. Let's go. Like middle of the car park. Yeah. We are in eye view of like the whole drop off zone. And he had no qualms. But I was like, no, it's okay. Keep your undies on. We'll head home in undies. Mr. 8, however, didn't want a bar of it. And I was just like, you're not getting in the car covered in chalk. You either stay here, you walk home by yourself, which is like probably a half-hour walk for him, or you strip down your undies and get in the car. Still didn't want a bar of it. I was like, look, mate, no one's watching you. No one cares if you, like, just take your shirt off. Nah, not having it. I was like, all right. So you did the dad thing, open the front door, open the passenger door, and that was his dressing room. And he like quickly got down, right down to his undies, and he threw his clothes in the car, and he was like looking around the whole time like he was robbing the 7-Eleven, and he's just jumped in the car and is like slunk right down. I was like, nah, man, come on, sit up properly and put your seatbelt on, all that stuff. But nah, he wasn't having it. I felt a little bit bad, but I was like, no, I'm not letting
He's too young to be that self-conscious.
No, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And also, I was like, don't chalk up my new Ranger.
Most importantly.
Most importantly, yeah. But yeah, that's my shit dad story.
Good story.
Nice, mate.
Your ergo one, coming back to that, I remember a time when, missed one. Actually, it was your little miss's birthday. I had to walk all the way up to the toilets. It was a bit cool for
That's
a baby.
right, yeah.
Anyway, so I had her blanket on. I think I've said this before, but anyway, blanket was tucked in and I was just going. It was fine, whatever. I obviously never tucked the blankets in far enough. And then next minute, it just like went and just slipped down and straight through the stream.
Oh.
And it was like...
the blanket?
Yeah, the blanket straight through the stream. And I was like...
That's nasty.
And I was like, oh, great. So then I had to like obviously go back, walk of shame. Why is she not in a blanket?
You don't want to know.
Did you want our kid to be covered in piss?
Don't ask.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'll tell you when we get home.
don't make a scene here.
Get in the car. I'm not going to talk about it. Oh, guys. All right. Well, thanks again, boys.
It's good.
For
time for the last kind of quote of the week.
Let's knock out a little quote of the week
from myself. Yeah. This one is something that an old boss of mine used to say all the time. And I love it because it was just her go-to, and it's just the most simple thing. You can say it to an adult, you can say it to a kid, and it's just all about essentially perseverance and understanding that life has ups and downs. So this quote is from an ex-US president, Franklin D. Roosevelt: "A smooth sea never made a good sailor." So just a really simple thing.
That's good.
You don't go out onto the ocean as a sailor just to,
If you don't challenge yourself, you don't get better.
Waters, yeah. You got to know how to, navigate when it's really rough, and life's the same. So, a good one. So, you're gonna get those life skills and learn a lot about yourself through the ups and downs. So that's a great one.
Awesome.
That's awesome, mate. Thanks, Frankie.
Thank you. That wraps up another busy week in fatherhood, boys. So we thank you once again for joining us. We'll be in your ears again this time next week. Until then, from this bunch of drained, doting, dynamic dads, walk on with your heads high and your jokes lame. See you later.
Yeah.
Celebrate